And with that, Ducktales woohoo, Season 2 finale has come to an end, and it ends with a bang, literally, as the remote control is being pressed. And we see already who the main antagonists, are going to be in Season 3. And trust me, something tells me Season 3 is going to be one of despair. But that is only the end in this very late review of this one from the Angry Anime fan. So what really happens? Well, first of all, the Moonvasion does happen. And Lunaris managed to overplay Scrooge in every single thing because, well, he has studied Scrooge in many different things. So Della tries to take the kids away because she's afraid of losing them again to Ethaquack, but unfortunately Zeus the jerk refuses to help because, well, he doesn't want to help Scrooge. Jeez, he really does hate Scrooge. I know a lot of people do, but that is just sore losing. Storkelis and Celine, who is actually revealed, at least in this media, to be Storkelis' sister, wants to help, but because of their father, they cannot say no. I mean, they can't defy him. It's worth noting that Storkelis called Donald his Donald, I guess once again showing that, yeah, maybe very hugely Storkelis is a man crush on Donald. Regardless, however, all of Scrooge's forces fails, so he is forced to do something he is going to regret. And that is teaming up with Glomgold, who is now hanging around in the Fishman district. Or fish-like district. Well, whatever. Lunaris' plan is actually to push Earth out of orbit, becoming the moon out of the moon. Jeez. The moon is not a planet, but I guess for the people who live on the moon, it is one. So when Della and gang leaves Ethaquack, unfortunately they crash land, where they actually lands on the exact same island Donald landed on. Talk about unlucky indeed, where he has gone so mad that he has created an imaginary friend in form of a melon that he actually does a very good Mickey Mouse impression of. Yeah, that melon is without any doubt a tribute to Mickey Mouse. But due to rights, Mickey Mouse is not allowed to appear on Ducktales, which I felt is a very, very huge shame. Also, it's worth noting that the one who does the voice of this Mickey Mouse impression is actually the same guy who voices Storkelis and Darkwing Duck, who also appears on this episode. In fact, a lot of characters from Season 2 and before has actually come back. But most of them are not talking. But they do so in badass moments. Either way, the guy who voices Storkelis, Christy Comolas, actually shows that he has a very strong potential for voice acting, as in fact he can do a pretty good Mickey Mouse impression. When Della and Donald meet, they of course immediately yell at each other, proving that yes, Della really is Donald's twin. Of course they later embrace. Della, although is a little bit despairy, thinking they're trapped here, but encouragement from Louis, as well as Donald, realize they can do everything. And so they actually get saved by none other than Cousin Theodory and Gladstone Grander. Turns out that Gladstone, for some strange reason, is actually friendly with Theodory. A jerk like that, well, he seems to be a little bit less jerky here. And Theodory, well, he is just Theodory. Although, unfortunately, Gladstone unintentionally eats the melon. Regardless, back on the places, Glomgold's weird plan involves finding Cannibal, being dressed like a Viking, and finally even forcing Scrooge to be dressed like Santa Claus, something he hates. You know, when we get a Season 3, can't we please just get a Christmas episode that actually shows us why Scrooge has such immense hatred for the Santa, and if Santa has a hatred for him? Either way, they actually does trick Lunalis because, well, it's just too dumb to actually succeed. And even Glomgold knows that the moon is not a planet. So they tries to stop Lunaris' plan to push Earth further out of orbit, but it seems to be lost until, of course, the cavalry arrives with Feathery and Gladstone. With Feathery's giant, Ebby-like shrimp-like creature holding up the rocket, and Gladstone's dumb luck, even creating some very funny moments. Lunaris' plan is foiled, at least to further push Earth, but in his villainous breakdown he takes a big ship of the Spear of Selene and intends to ram Earth in from space. So the Ducks take their other ship, although Della and Donald fights over who wanna pilot what, and tries to, well, stop it. But the one who actually saves it is none other than Pemura, who crashes right into the ship, but actually gets saved, and gets dragged back into the Spear of Selene before she falls down. But how do Earth get saved from being thrown out of orbit? Well, Lunalis survive as well, but his ship is wrecked and he's trapped in it, where Selene actually reveals that now they can finally intervene because they have tied up their father. And Storkalis is actually revealed to be way stronger than we really thought. He pushes Earth back into orbit, just by pushing it. Almost similar to the Chuck Norris legend, when Chuck Norris moves the Earth. No, when Chuck Norris do push-up, he doesn't push himself up, he pushes the Earth down, indeed. So with that, the moon invasion is over, and the Lumerians actually finds out that what Lunaris' plan was, and they realizes that they were completely wrong in everything. And Launchpad falls for Pemura, although she is less than impressed by him. But it seems very likely that that Launchpad is actually chasing an Amazon-like girl, because, well, you know, many of his previous girlfriends seems to be that way. Either way, it all ends happily, although unfortunately Darkwing Duck didn't really get that much recognition, because, well, he's currently a joke. So, but they all have a group photo. But the end is where things really take dark turn, as a familiar voice is shut down the screen, revealing it's Fowl with their agents, Gandra D, the same girl that is supposed to be Fenton's girlfriend. A somewhat Frankenstein-like version of Jeeves with a carbon-in-frozen John D. Ruckaduck. A guy who hasn't appeared yet but is very popular in the Darkwing Duck series, Steelbeak, who, by the way, looks exactly like his previous design. The Funzone's mascot, who is actually revealed to be the Phantom Blot, a well-known nemesis to Mickey Mouse, as well as also someone who appeared in an episode of the previous Ducktales series, in disguise. And finally, Black Heron, who for some strange reason is alive, although of course losing her metallic arm. The Fowl High Command claims that the Ducks are to blame for almost losing Earth, and they says that all the pieces are in command, as the Shadow reveals them to be Buford Buzzard and the other two vultures, aka Scrooge accountants, and they proclaim, if the McDucks want an adventure, we will give them one, a last one. All the pieces are in play now. Indeed, it's revealed that Fowl have been in the scene from the very first episode, not only with Buford and Buzzard's, team, but even with the Funzone mascot, who is revealed to be the Blot. Gandra D was also revealed to be working for Fowl. This gig she did for Mark Beeks was all perhaps to get Fenton's attraction, or is she gonna pull a heel-face turn? John D. Rookerduck from the Golden Rush, that was that theme that even back then Fowl was active. And finally, Steelbeak, who, by the way, has yet to appear in this series, but was noted to be Fowl's most dangerous agent in the Darkwing Duck series. May perhaps this is a sign that that's going to happen again. And Black Heron, well, she's alive, and I have a feeling her grudge against Webby and Beakley, as well as Scrooge, has just gotten stronger. But the fact that Buford is the High Command just means one more thing, and that is that they have been trying to control Scrooge the power for ages. Yes, for ages, because they were seen in the flashbacks way when the Winter Spirits took Scrooge. They have been keeping an eye on everything, and Scrooge doesn't suspect a thing. Despair is strong now. We have met the season 3 antagonist, Fowl, at long last. What awaits us, we don't know. but a good season this was. So give me your thoughts if you have any.